Um, Hi, beautiful people. Ragoi hapa. First of all, is to apologize for yesterday. I did not manage to do a video yesterday. I had a few issues with my phone, especially when it comes to space on my phone. And so I deeply apologize, and I thank you for the encouragement. I thank you for the feedback. I thank you for those who pray with me and for me. I thank you, and may God bless you. So last time we left off, before the previous one is that we left off when my mom and my dad separated and how it was a mess for us and how it was chaotic. But I want to ask you to do it today to allow me not to follow through to the next bit of that and to just share something else that really has touched me. It's still basically my story, but in a slightly different way, and it's really heavy on me right now. I was at a friend's place who was to help me with something, and we got to share, and it really took me back to a lot of things. I'm a bit not really skeptical, but I'm a bit ashamed of what I'm going to say and a bit afraid as well. But when I think about the mission or the vision of all this, then me being ashamed is not. It's neither here nor there. It's all about the greater good, and it's a bit painful. It's a bit hurtful. It's a bit shameful, especially for me. But I have to pass through this phase. I have to. So when we were growing up, I remember seeing my dad hit my mom, I think on one occasion. And the implication then was really not dire because I really did not. I was very young. As you remember, they officially split. Like my mom moving out when I think I was about 7 or 8 years old. So and when that incident happened, when my dad slapped my mom, actually it was way before that. And I think I have seen my brother as well hit a woman, I think once as well. It's not something easy, but it has to be. I have to say it. It's part of my life, kind of. So I'm about to give my side of the story, or my story on that issue. So I remember I think in my first girlfriend, when I was in college. I think she was. I would say not. Yeah, I would say the first love, my first love. We had a good run. We had ups and downs, definitely. But there was one time that she came and she found me in a situation, a compromising situation. It wasn't extreme, but it was still compromising. I've come to learn that in a particular, you can be in a particular position, and to you it's okay, but to the other party it's not okay. And I've come to realize that we all need, in relationships especially, we all need to be careful on what we do, on how I could be talking to a lady, and to me it's okay, but if it's not okay to my spouse or to my partner or to my wife, then I should stop it regardless of how I feel, because it's hurting them. So it was somewhat a situation whereby it wasn't really innocent. I wasn't really innocent, but if you sit down and talk about it, you can probably see the side of my story. But nonetheless, I was on the wrong. But she came and confronted me, and she started hitting me. And I remember I grabbed her, just to defend myself. And that was the first incident. And she was afraid of me for a few days because I'm not the hitting type. I'm not the hitting type. I am barely kill a fly. So fast forward many years later, she goes to Dubai. I think she moves on or something. Then she comes back. Then we hit it off again, and we have this huge, like this was like the mother of all fights. It got physical, and it was so bad that she had a black eye, and I would want to sit here and say, hey, she started it, or this happened, or I'm not gonna do that because that wasn't right of me, regardless of the situation. I have a daughter now, and I just pray that God has forgiven me for my past so that it does not affect my daughter. I have a sister who has been in a relationship that was abusive. And it wasn't cool. I was mad at that situation. I didn't understand why. But then I was reminded, hey, you're forgetting you also had an incident. When my daughter's mom was about 5 months pregnant with her, we had another similar situation. I come off from meeting my cousin, and I get in the house, and I would want to justify myself, but there's no justification for that. She's 5 months pregnant. She does something, I get agitated, and before I hit her, I realize that I'm doing something stupid. So the best I could do is just grab her by the arms, and I really grabbed her really tight. Just I think maybe to just let her know, you really pissed me off, and there's nothing I can do right now but to just grab you because you're pregnant. And then I shoved her or pushed her slightly, or I pushed her on the bed. We were just standing next to the bed. I was living in the bed sitter. Anyway, and I pushed her. And I remember that time I went and I went to her mom, and her sister was mad at me. She didn't even want anything to do with me. For good reasons, though. And I would try and justify anything, and the situation, how it was, and what led me to grab her, do whatever I did. I can justify all I can, but and when I went to her mother's place, when I went to her parents' place, and I apologized to the mom. And I also told the mom to apologize to the sister because the sister did not want anything to do with me. So I just apologized, and I said I'm not gonna do that again. And truth be told, I never did, but she took that and turned it against me. And now, the 2 or 3 fights we had, she was attacking me. And every time, regardless of my anger, I used to remember, you promised never to hit her again. And the best I would do is defend myself. But in any case, even if, people you go to a court of law, people will judge you different, will say, no, there's no way. And even at a point, she tried to accuse me before her friends that I was attacking her, that I beat her, and I did not. But you see, the fact of the matter is, people are different. Women are they can push your buttons. Like in my scenario, my buttons were being pushed, and all I could think of is just get the hell out of that room. And I really wanted to, but she would not let me. And the sad part is, in as much as she's not letting me get out of the room, she's attacking me. So I'm trying to defend myself, but in the process, it's still a physical fight. And until it reaches that point, there's something wrong somewhere. And it's so sad that we objectify women, or we treat them as I have a mom who was abused. I have a sister, and now I have a daughter, and I'm scared. But it's something that has happened in my life. I have done that. I have been the victimizer, or rather the one raising a hand to hit a woman. I have been there, and it's so sad. It's so sad. So while I was having issues with my phone about the memory and storage, I remember there's a friend of mine who had told me that she had a camera and she would record me if I needed. So when I had the issue, I thought, hey, let me hit her up and see if, we can do something. And so I went to her place, or rather, I went to her place, and funny enough, the lights were off and the camera was off. She would not charge it. And so now I'm thinking, okay, well, I have now to work on my phone and then trying to see what's going on. But eventually she managed to help me and find, where all this data is being stored and everything. But the reason the lights went off, the reason the camera was not powered up, was bigger than I thought. Because at that particular moment, we started talking, and she started telling me about her life, and she started sharing about a few things that she went through. She started bottling up. She started bottling up stuff since she was very young, and I could relate. I started bottling up things. The moment my dad told me if I continue crying, just because I was seeing my mom leave, if I continue crying, then he's gonna deal with me like on a serious level. And I started bottling up things ever since. So when she's telling me about bottling up, and I completely understand. But then the tables turn, and she talks about how she's sidelined in her family, how she's I don't think is it the black sheep, or how everybody else is, they have done their masters and PhD, and she has, and what she's doing is what she loves doing, but the father wants nothing to do with it. And she has been completely alienated or sidelined. And then she tells me part of her story about how she was even molested by relatives when she was young, how she was punished because she could not speak up when she wanted to use sanitary towels, and she had to steal from her aunt. And instead of them realizing what is going on, she was punished for that. And you could see the pain in her eyes as she was talking. She was just literally crying. And I felt speechless. Because, fam, I remember when I started doing this, I knew very well, and I know very well, that there are people out there whose stories are just, mine is just a walk in the park. I may see it as it was huge and it was crazy, but it's a walk in the park when you listen to other stories out there. But if I reach to this place that I can say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say, well, because at the end of the day, it's not about whose story is greater than whose. I'm just trying to bring another perspective and another understanding, that people will understand that there is a God in heaven. And at that time that she was just speaking to me, I grew speechless and helpless. And the only thing I could do is ask her if we could pray, and that we did. Because in as much as I'm doing this, in as much as I know one or two people are going to be touched and probably relate, in as much as I know that, there's nothing I can offer them. There's nothing I can give them to bring the peace in that heartache, to bring the answers to the many questions like why, how, Why did you allow this to happen? But maybe, just maybe, I can direct someone to the person who knows all the answers, to the person who knows our end from our beginning, to the person who knitted us in our womb, to the person who created everything and everything is for him, to the person who gives us breath, and that is Jesus Christ. And I was in so much pain that I could not just come and continue where we left off. I had to, it was so much pain, and I honestly don't, to be honest, I don't have the answers. I was in a place of many questions myself. I have called myself an orphan, yet my mom was alive. I have felt alienated, I have felt all alone by myself, yet I had family. I still do have family. I really don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know what pain you're going through. I don't know what heartache you're going through right now. And to be honest, I have no answer. I could try and quote scripture here and there. I could try and seem articulate or wise, or I could try and seem intelligent and tell you stuff probably I've heard or probably I've read or probably I've gone through. But even saying sorry does not take the pain away, does not take anything away. But I know there's one man who takes everything away. He created you and me, and for that reason, that's reason enough for us to go in his presence boldly and ask, God, you created me, but did you create me to go through all this pain? So why is it that I'm going through all this pain? Why is it that I'm going through all this hurdle, this heartache? Why? We have that boldness and assurance. We can go to him and ask him these hard questions. But don't forget, always remember that some things you may go through are not for you. Are for you, yes, but they're for someone else. Because right now, if I go and speak to a person, probably a drunkard, who wants maybe to change, I would be in a good position to do that because I've been there. I remember when I was attending Parklands Baptist back in the day, and Pastor Ambrose, I'm sure many of you know him, would say that he only he has tasted alcohol, like literally, like tasted, like that's it, and that was it for him. And I think he was 18 years old, or I don't know, just in his early years. He tasted, like literally tasted, and that was it for him. And there's no way he would relate with a drunkard. In as powerful and anointed as he is, there's no way he can relate with a drunkard. But there are people who out there who have slept even in ditches and turned their lives around and can comfortably come and say, you know what, it is doable with Christ. And maybe that's one of the reasons that just led me to do this, knowing very well that there's stories out there that mine is just a walk in the park. But if I can be able to connect with that one person or two people, then that's it. That's the goal. That's it. And fam, I kid you not, there's emptiness without Christ. We may try to hide it. We may try to run to drugs. We may try to run to women as for, the men. And we may try to run to men as for the women. But there's still an emptiness that only God can fill. And in as much as the heartache in your heart and you feel like running away and not even facing this God, He's the only solution. He's the only one who can change your life. He's the only one who can change my life. For most of you who know me from back in the day, since first Facebook, I think, started, I don't share much. I don't write much. I'm one of the backbenchers, one of the viewers, one who just a spectator, basically. But for me to reach even a place that I can share a story or I can share anything like on video to probably 80% of people who don't know me. That's not my effort. That's not me, fam. It's only by the grace of God. And that's why I'm confident and I know that it's not about me. I may get healing through the process, but it's not about me. And in as much as I know other stories are crazy out there, even bigger than mine, I still know there's a connection somewhere. And I just want to take this opportunity to apologize to every woman out there who has been through child molestation, who has been molested rather, either as a child or as an adult, who has been abused physically, emotionally, spiritually. There are people out there who would never go to church because of what they have experienced, and they have literally given up going to church because of the experiences they got in the church. And in the church, that's where you're supposed to go and feel at home. But then that's where some craziness is found. I just want to take this opportunity, if I may, just to apologize to every woman out there who has passed through my hands, passed through any man's hands, through abuse, through beating, through molestation, through belittling. I just want to say I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry. And I know my sorry, maybe it's too late. Maybe my sorry is not even going to cut it. But if you just believe the words that come out of my mouth telling you that Jesus can give you all, I pray that you may find the courage to seek this Jesus who is I don't know what to, I can't explain. All I can say is he's everything. And that's all we need. So may the grace of God be upon you. May the peace that surpasses human understanding be upon you. And I'm truly, truly sorry. No woman deserves. I'm truly sorry. God bless you. See you next week.